If you like Keychron and you're looking for an affordable custom keyboard, look no further. This is the Keychron Q2. It's part of their Q series line, which caters to enthusiasts in the entry custom keyboard market. The Q2 comes in 3 colors: carbon black, navy blue, and silver grey. There are a few different configurations you can choose from, either knob or knobless, pre-built with different switches, or even bare bones. I got the bare bones knob version, which costs $169 on the Keychron website. The box looks great from the outside, with a minimal design and holographic printing. Inside the box, you'll find a Keychron branded USB-C cable, spare gaskets and screws, some documentation, and of course, the keyboard itself. The Q2 features a solid CNC milled aluminum build. It has an industrial look going for it, with sharp angular lines throughout the case. The finish has a subtle shimmery effect in certain lighting conditions that makes it look a little bit more expensive. The only word I can think of while looking at this keyboard is clean. There's no logo, there's no engraving, or any mention of the brand anywhere on the case. Because this is an aluminum keyboard, it does feel quite heavy, weighing in at 2.5 kilograms. This is not something you'll want to lug around in your backpack if you're traveling. There are 4 non-adjustable rubber feet on the back of the case. Because these are non-adjustable, you'll have to get used to the 6.5 degree typing angle of the keyboard. Also on the back, you'll see these 8 brass colored screws that hold the case in place. Back on the front of the board, you'll find a rotary encoded knob on the top right side. The knurling on the knob is grippy, and that makes it really easy to use. You can control the volume by rotating the knob, or you could play and pause tracks by clicking down on it. You can also set up other macros if you'd like. There's a very slight wiggle if you move the knob around. Keychron includes your own screw-in stabilizers pre-installed with this kit. They look beautiful in this shade of green. They come looped from the factory and they felt quite smooth when I was using them. Because this is a 65% layout, you get the exploded arrow cluster for those of you who can't live without the keys. The plate that comes standard on all Q2s is made of steel. There's a foam layer between the steel plate and PCB that provides some additional sound dampening. Taking apart the case, you'll find that the top and bottom cases are cushioned by these soft pour-on pads all around. If you like flexi keyboards, you're going to love the Q2. Inside the case, there's a thin layer of foam for additional sound dampening, and a thin sheet of plastic to prevent shots against the metal case. The PCB is south-facing and it features Keychron hot swap sockets that can take either 3-pin or 5-pin switches. This is a QMK VIA compatible PCB, so you'll be able to customize literally everything on the keyboard. You can even control the per key RGB through the program. I don't usually use RGB on my setups, but it's there if you want to use it. Now to my favorite part. It's time to put this keyboard together. For the switches, I use Arco Matcha Green linears. They have a 50 gram actuation force, 63 gram bottom out force, and 4mm of travel. Okay, I have to admit, I just went with these to match the colors of the switches with the stabilizers. I think they look great. Why stop there though? Let's add a little bit more green to this build. I went with a dark hammerhead keycap set from AliExpress to complete the trifecta. It's probably more teal than green, but it was the closest match I had. The cherry profile keycaps here look great and they felt great for the price. I only did one mod to this keyboard, which was the Tempest Tape mod with 3 layers of masking tape on the back of the PCB. Let's find out how this keyboard sounds. Before that, if you like the content, please consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing. We are on the road to 1K subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough for supporting the channel. So what are some things I like and dislike about the keyboard? Let's start with the first thing I like, the build quality. This thing just screams premium. Tight tolerances, nice finishing, and a solid build all around. The first time you hold this keyboard, you'll immediately know you're getting a high quality product. The other thing I liked about this keyboard is the design. It's an industrial looking slab of metal, but the angular lines on the bottom of this case really give it some personality to me. The Q2 looks great from all angles, and that's something I really enjoy every time I see it on my desk. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, availability. This is something that's taken for granted, but the fact that Keychron has this readily available in all markets makes for a seamless purchasing experience. You don't really need to frequent Discord servers waiting months for restocks. You'll be able to purchase it anytime you want it. Now onto the cons. I love the look and feel of the knob, but the square frame around it just ruins the overall aesthetic. Keychron should have just committed to the knob and gotten rid of that square frame for this configuration. Another con that's a bit more subjective is the sound profile. Any switch I tried on this sounds thin and clacky. If you're into talky sounds or just generally deeper sounds, this may not be the keyboard for you. Lastly, value. At $169 for the bare bones kit with no switches or keycaps, this is not exactly a cheap keyboard. If you're spending that much money on a keyboard, there are many other options out there that provide some great value, features, and sound profile for not that much more money, sometimes even less. So, what do I think about the Keychron Q2 and should you buy it? Well, the Keychron K3 was my first ever mechanical keyboard, so I've always had a soft spot for the brand. I really do feel that their K series are excellent boards sold at very attractive prices for most people. With the Q series, I don't get that same giddy feeling of getting a great deal, but that doesn't take anything away from what it is. Sure, it has some strong competition in the segment. I'm looking at the Zoom 65 and QK65. If you really want the best keyboard for your money, I recommend getting either of those or the Keychron Q2. If the Q2 does have one thing going for it, it's the fact that it's readily available any given time. This will make it the choice for people who just want a great keyboard without going through the hassle of group buys. You're gonna get a premium keyboard in a couple of days instead of a couple of months. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.